Apple actually did it. They went and released the iPhone SE second generation. A very old design, but the internals are crazy good for $400. So should you go for the new iPhone SE or the upcoming Pixel 4a, because these are both $400 phones and they're both going for the same market, which is best? So this is iOS versus Android, but really the Pixel 4a is the epitome of an Android phone and the SE is the epitome of an Apple phone. What you get with the Pixel 4a is a modern design and a big screen, and that is not to be taken lightly. It's 5.8 inches versus the 4.7 inches of the iPhone, and this is a really big decision maker between the phones. Because of the modern design, the tiny bezels, the 5.8 inch screen on the Pixel 4a is not going to be in a big phone. The 4.7 inch of the iPhone is a small screen on a small phone with some big bezels. And that means even though you get a really amazing chip in the A13, playing games is going to be quite a feat. It is just a small screen. It's probably the biggest drawback, if the only drawback of the phone, is that small screen, 4.7 inches. And also iOS these days is designed for the 5.8 inch screen of the iPhone 11, that sort of size. And iOS on that 4.7 inch screen is going to be squashed. It's definitely probably the biggest drawback of the phone for me. They are both LCD screens, so no differences there. The fingerprint sensor on the back of the Pixel 4a, not my favorite position. The front positioned fingerprint sensor on the iPhone, definitely the better position for me. The new iPhone SE is using Apple's premium materials like aluminium, and the Pixel 4a apparently is going to be plastic material. I don't think that's a big decision maker between the two phones. They will feel very light. They're going to be of the same type of design. Another massive difference though between them is the chipsets used, and this is another huge difference in general between Apple devices and also Android devices around the same price. Apple amazingly in this $400 phone fit the Apple A13 chipset, which is found in $1,000 Apple iPhone 11 series phones. This is one of, if not the best chipsets in the smartphone world. It is crazy powerful and it will enable so many other things for gaming, also in image processing as well, which is a huge deal. The A13 chipset can process images so well. You have Apple's Deep Fusion. It's a really big deal to have that chipset in a $400 phone. However, even though it is amazingly powerful, when you are gaming on that 4.7 inch display, I don't think you're going to get the most out of a gaming experience as you would on a bigger display, but as I said, that's one of the main limitations of the phone, is that small screen. For the $400 price on an Android phone, you have to take a step down in processing power. The Pixel 4a tipped to come with a Snapdragon 730. The 730 though is not a bad chipset. I've used a ton of phones with this processor, and it is very powerful for everyday use, absolutely no issues whatsoever. And gaming too, there are also no issues. Where there's a difference is that with, for example, the A13 chipset and other flagship Android chipsets like the Snapdragon 865, you can play games at their highest settings on those flagship chipsets, whereas on the 730, you have to play at some reduced settings. But when you are playing the game, there are no issues with speed or lagginess whatsoever. The cameras also are so similar between the phones. These really are going for the same market. They both have a single camera at the back at 12 megapixels. Who takes the best images? This is going to be down to personal choice. Apple versus the Pixel. Pixel usually take incredibly good still images. That's what they're famous for. And Apple usually excel in video, but they also take fantastic images too. There are going to be no functional differences because neither of them have an ultra wide, neither of them have a zoom camera. They can both shoot 4K video. The Pixel 4a will be limited to 30 frames a second, the iPhone up to 60 frames a second, but most people shoot in 30 or even 24 frames a second anyway. Because the Pixel is an Android phone, we get a big screen and we also get a big battery. 3,800 milliamp hours tipped to be on that phone roughly, whereas on the iPhone, you're getting an 1,800 milliamp hour battery. But in terms of battery life overall, you know you're going to get about a day. The bigger screen takes up more battery on the Pixel phone and the smaller screen takes up less battery on the iPhone. From a hardware standpoint, I would definitely give screen and battery to the Pixel, but the Apple has the A13 chipset. Overall though, both are going to give you very similar results overall in terms of daily usage, social media, gaming. The camera systems are very similar too. So do you want to choose iOS or do you want to choose Android for $400? That's what these two phones are really all about. Subscribe for all the latest tech news and videos. That's it for now, but I'll see you in the next one.